no sound.
There we go.
Can you hear us now? Can you hear me 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 now?
Yeah, they said it a lot of times.
Yep, they're still saying no sound. No sound. Let me see this. Oh, yeah, there's sound now because I can hear it myself right over here.
There you go.
Yeah, so we have sound now. All right. I got to tell everybody before we went live and said, Josh, is the sound right? Oh, it's good.
I said I hope so. I said I think so, and I hope so.
You ain't been here for 2 weeks. We got this thing on lockdown, brother. Don't worry about it. Hey, do your Jason Houston impersonation.
James, I do not think you should be talking to me this way. Charles will not like it.
That's almost as good as your Charles Walters impersonation. It's hilarious. Look, Charles still putting no sound on me. Yeah, turn your volume up, Charles. That's why you got no sound.
That Cowan, shut up.
No, that's what he's saying, man. Anyway, we're back. I am back. I know you guys would probably rather have Kira on here, but I am back. I am here to stay. Oh, Bonnie, I ain't breaking up. It's your phone. I just listen. So anyway, I'm back from Uganda trying to get caught up on my sleep. Josh is there in Morocco, Indiana. Got that goatee going. Kind of looks like a Ukrainian soldier that just got back from Kiev or something over there. Can you talk Ukrainian, Josh?
I will try to talk somewhat Ukrainian, a little Russian too, you know.
I'm telling you, Josh is a man of many voices. You never know what's going to come out of that mouth of his, do you, Josh?
Come on, Jesus. It's true. True story.
I don't know if you sound more like yourself or like George Smarja.
Well, you know, the Lord said this, and that's it. I did what I was supposed to.
That's right. Why don't you go ahead and do your thing?
All right. Yeah, they're just trying to jack with us on the comments now because I just listened to it also. Well, we want to welcome everyone for joining us. Please like and share the video. Also comment. We will try to, if you have a question, put it in the comments. We'll try to get it out here today in our episode here. Also, if you'd like to get some merchandise, please, any BNC t-shirts or BNC coffee mugs, please also put that in the comment or message us. That being said, we'd like to mention our sponsors that we mentioned them at the beginning. The first 4 comments are our sponsors, which is Night Owl Promotions, which provides with the BNC shirts and mugs.
Sorry, I almost missed my cue.
As well as Portside Coffee that we put in said mugs. As well as Blue Spruce Soaps, young Levi there doing work for the kingdom of God. It's awesome. It's powerful. And Bonnie said to cut his hair off. Jim, how was the haircut? Someone said, I got a haircut this week, but Jim looks like he needs one. It's getting long and shaggy for Jim.
Man, my hair's doing pretty good. You know, interesting thing, I think I know what Sandra Isaacs is talking about, and we'll get into that. As you know, that the Bishop, Charles Walters, and myself was in Uganda the last couple of weeks. And man, I'm telling you, anytime the two of us are in Uganda, it's a party. It's all there is to it. But we had a great time. But the first Saturday we were there, we went to the Women's Training Center, and I'm just telling you, it was amazing being there. It really was, Josh. Because, you know, I was there for the launching of it, just the very beginning, and then we left because it was a Women's Day there. But I'm telling you, Charles and I, we were there. They made some shirts for us literally while we were there. Matter of fact, hold on just a minute, okay?
I'm holding.
Josh, I'll tell you what. Can you talk for like 2 minutes?
I can't. I don't know what to do with my hands though.
Just pretend like it's Sunday morning and just babble on.
Usually on Sunday mornings, I'm talking about how great you are. So if that's babbling, I guess I won't anymore. But anyway, hey, it's the Christmas season. Welcome to Brothers in Christ. Normally we would have a wives edition, but they've kind of nixed that this past year. They said they're tired of it because it's just not a thing anymore because they think that they are amazing, that they run the show, that everything's about them, and they make it better, and that it makes it harder on us to follow through with a show after they're on. I told them no, but that's just the way it is. We missed the opening. Yes, you did miss it. There was a problem with the sound at the beginning. We apologize for that. So everyone missed it except for myself and Jim. We were the only two that got to hear the opening. There's nothing you want. There was nothing really. My God,
Got this shirt on that the ladies made for me while I was there.
sweet dill pickle.
And so they did a super job on these shirts. It was just a blast. So anyway, my haircut.
Yes.
So I did not get my haircut while I was there that day. I had planned on it, but we got there and the clippers they had used somehow had blown up on them, Bonnie. Probably because Bonnie got them off of Amazon for $9.99. But that's beside the point.
Bonnie does
As
get
Bombshell
cheap
Beauty,
material.
absolutely. So literally the very next day, or it may have been that afternoon, I went to it's almost kind of like a Walmart in Kampala that was closing down, going out of business. Actually, I think it's owned by Walmart to a degree, they said. And I bought a couple of pair of myself and Charles Walters. We bought a couple of pair of clippers that had their plug on it for them to use. And so I sent them to Jonathan because I wasn't going to be there the next day. But they did get the hair clippers, and they're rocking and rolling. They made cake while we were there. They made
Nice.
2 cakes, and I'm telling you, man, they were icing it, had the cake all made up and iced up and stuff. And I gotta be honest with you, John, I was kind of freaked out. I'm like, man, it looks like cake, but I don't know what this thing's gonna taste like. And they had a whole ceremony of me and Charles cutting the cake and stuff, and the place was full of people. And it was amazing because we took a bite and we were both like, hey, this is good cake. you know, so we took another bite, but then we cut it up. We went around and we served. Charles and I served all the people. And Jonathan was talking to me afterwards, and he said, "Man, that was so powerful." I said, "What was so powerful about it?" He said, because around here, normally white people don't serve, don't serve us. We usually wait on you because you're our guests. And for you to be our guests and to serve every person in here like that was amazing. So Charles preached that day. I preached a little bit, not a lot. I wanted to make sure the bishop had all the time he needed because I know he really demands a lot of time when he gets the microphone. And so
He does. He is definitely all about wanting to be in the spotlight and have the microphone when he's in Uganda.
absolutely. So he preached, and we just had a really really good time there. And Sunday, I'm telling you what, guys, because you know how it is. We got to our hotel room about 1 o'clock in the morning Friday night.
Yep.
When we literally had a meeting at, I think it was 7:30 or 8 a.m. with Pastor Sebiala. And from there, we literally had Jonathan pick us up, and we went straight to the church. So we got to the hotel room at 1, and we was literally at the church at 9 a.m. And we were there until like 2:30 in the afternoon. Went to another church. When we left there, we went to Raphael's church. I can't remember the name of his church now. So we went from there to Raphael's church, and then finally back to the hotel. Got up the next morning. Charles had to do 4 services at the church he was at. I'm telling you, man, I ended up joining him over there for the very last part of the 3rd service and for the 4th service. And I went and preached at a Finero Ministries. It was incredible being there, man. I mean, Apostle Grayson Vega, amazing man of God. There was probably around 5,000 people in the service that Sunday morning when I preached. And man, I tell you what, I just had a Holy Ghost hoedown, man. It was an incredible time. And by the time Sunday afternoon came by, Charles, after preaching 4 times, he was just wore out. Poor guy was like a whooped pup, man, back in that hotel room.
Yeah,
But no, so I didn't get my haircut there. So because the clippers were blown up, there is a barber shop that Saturday evening that I went to. It's right out the back door of the Speak Hotel. And
let me ask you this real quick. Let me ask you this on that, Jim. Is there a picture or a silhouette of Joe Patanoga on that barbershop?
Yeah, I think there is. I think all pictures in Africa look like Joe Paternoga. But that's beside the point. I see Gary Ernat's watching. He joined us for part of the trip over there. He was actually in the service that I preached on Sunday morning there at Finero Ministries. I come walk, because the building they were in was being used by the government or something that morning. So they literally erected this massive tent outside. And I'm telling you, man, when I say massive, this thing was there was over 5,000 people underneath this roof. That's not counting Children's Church. Children's Church was in a different location. I don't know how many kids they had at Children's Church. And so we're in this massive tent, dude. And I'm telling you, that had to have been 60, 70, 60 feet at least to the peak of that thing. It was huge. And it wasn't that wide. It was like straight back, man. It was massive. And I come walking through the tent. Praise and worship's going on. You know how they bring you out after service has already started. And so praise and worship's going on. I come walking through the tent. Right there, man, up front, second row, a bright red suit coat and a shiny head, man. Gary Ernat sitting there just clapping his hands and just having a party. I'm like, my God, Gary. He goes, did I stand out? I said, stand out. I said, it wasn't the fact that you're white, but that red coat as well, man. You're standing out like nobody's business. I'm telling you, man. And you got to watch Gary's wife one of these times. Her name is Naka. You got to watch her worship, man, because she's just like she don't care what anybody thinks when that woman starts worshiping. But I couldn't miss Gary, man, when I come walking through that backside of that tent to come up there to the front, man. He just stood out like nobody's business.
He just commented it was over the top.
Oh, it was, man. I'm telling you. And it's funny when Gary went north with us to the village, and he didn't wear a hat. And he did put sunblock on that bald head of his. And the second day we were up there, he had a red shirt on, and I'm telling you right now, I think his head was more red than his shirt was. I'm telling you, that dude got scorched. His head ended up blistering on him and everything. So I mean, Gary got a sunburn, man, where most people don't get a sunburn, and that's on his head.
I gave him a comb and he said he would never part with it.
That's got to be a Bonnie joke. That's got to be a Bonnie joke.
They said this, someone said stand up so they can see your shirt.
Oh, threw my head back here. There we go. There now everybody knows what my stomach looks like on here. But then we had a lot of meetings the next 2 days. Actually, Monday night we went to Busika, one of Charles Walter's favorite place to go in Uganda. We went to Busika and joined Pastor Sebiala there and did a crusade service out there. And I spoke just briefly at the beginning of that. And Charles preached, and naturally, in true Charles Walters form, he got off the stage, the crusade platform, like he wasn't supposed to, and went down amongst the people, because that's just what he does. And so we had a great
if you want Charles to do something, tell him he's not allowed to do it.
Absolutely. And then what he'll do is he'll put you on the spot. He'll look at you and say, is it okay if I do this, knowing that you're going to say yes? I'd like to hear him doing that.
Hey, Cowan, you said not to come off the stage. Is it okay if I do this since I'm already down here? Dag nabbit, you better not say no. I'll call Regina on you.
Exactly. So
call Peg. Tell Peg, get a hold of Jim. He's being mean to me.
Listen, we're going to go there here in a minute. We're going to go there. You got to hear the story that I'm leading up to. I'm telling you right now, man, while I was in Uganda, Charles called my wife to get me in trouble.
Shut up.
He ratted me out to her, man. I'm telling you right now.
Did you call Regina?
No, man. No. You know why? Because I respect Regina. So it was pretty funny. So we went north to Gulu, and we were there for 4 or 5 days. I think it was. Friday night we had a dinner with the Executive Committee for Uganda for Jesus. Saturday was a leaders conference, and man, we had a blast at that leaders conference on Saturday. Gary Ernat preached first, and then Scott Ingram. Actually, I take that back. Charles preached first, then Gary, then Scott. And then I preached last. I did an oil anointing service for that last service, man. And I'll tell you what, I do not think those people. Well, you know how I do the oil anointing demonstration. I call the seven sons of Jesse up there, and I'm telling you, Josh, you've never seen 7 people sweating it out more in their life, thinking they were going to get a bottle of oil dumped over their head. especially that last guy. He was there, man, and he realized he was the only one up there, and he's thinking, and he was dressed nice too, had this nice Ugandan outfit on, and this guy sitting there, literally, he started breathing heavy. He was going, this dude's totally thinking that he's getting the oil dumped on his head. And then I go, no, it's not you. Get out of here. And I'm like, where's David? But naturally, I always get a hold of David first. And I know when I call him, where's David? You come forward. And so I go, where's David? Where's David? And I see him. He's in the very back. He stands up, starts to come over. But this woman on the front row stands up and comes forward. I'll be David. I said, no, that's all right. I've already got someone coming forward. But I went over and laid hands on her and prayed for her anyway, man, just because she got up, man. I've never had anybody get up for her. I'll do it. And so, but it was powerful, man. When that oil hit that kid's head, man, I'm telling you right now, man, that place exploded. I went back to him after the service, and actually they were winding the service up. I went back to him and take him a rag because he was just sitting back there, and he was just shaking like this, man. For literally, it was only 15 minutes after I dumped the oil. Actually, we anointed everybody with oil, and he was still sitting back there shaking in his seat, man, under the presence and the power of God.
Wow. Wow.
And so it was just a good time, man. So the best part of this whole trip, though, is when we get back to Kampala on Sunday. Okay, we go out to eat. You know, we preach Sunday morning. We hit the road, 6-hour drive. We get back to Kampala. It's like 7 o'clock. Naturally, we're off to CJ's to eat dinner.
Is there any other place?
Not at all, man. You got to hit CJ's. So we come back. I think it's like the third time we ate at CJ's on the trip. And so we come back to the hotel room. Next thing you know, Chuck's not feeling. Bishop is not feeling good. I'm telling you, man, it was so funny. So this dude gets sick. Okay, he's sick.
Shut up.
I'm laughing because now you don't want to do that. But
what did you drink water?
I don't know what he did, man. But he's sick, and I mean this dude is down for the count. And so I'm like, it's like taking care of my kid, you know.
Wait. What day are you flying back on? This is Sunday. What day are you supposed to fly back?
The next day at midnight.
Oh, jeez.
So Monday night, or I guess you could say Tuesday morning at midnight. And so, he's up half the night and stuff. So the next morning, the funniest thing, man, because you know how it is when you get sick. And then all of a sudden you're like dehydrated. And so, he wants something to drink, and it's morning time now. I'm like, all right, they don't sell 7-Up in Uganda. No. So I'm like, I'll get you some Sprite. So, I bring in 2 bottles of Sprite from my well, it's so funny because so he gets one of the bottles of Sprite down and he keeps it down, and he's like, Cowan, I'm hungry. I need something to eat. How would you do that?
Cowan, I'm hungry. I need something to eat, dagnabbit. Don't make me get out of this bed.
Exactly, man. I'm telling you, it's hilarious. And so I go get him some dry toast.
What's that? What the crap is that, Cowan? Dry toast. I said I'm hungry, dagnabbit.
I know. I told him, I said, your stomach's empty. I said, you got to have some dry toast. He said, come on, man. Put some butter on it.
It's dry, Cowan. Come on, man. Put some butter on it.
I said, you can't put butter on it. That oil will hit that stomach. You'll be throwing up all over the place. He goes, you're terrible, man. You're like a ruthless dictator. I said, just eat your dry toast and be quiet. It was the funniest thing, man. That dude was so tore up. I was only giving him dry toast. Oh, man. You never know what's going to happen on these trips. I'm telling you right now, man. You just do not know.
Oh, man.
So needless to say, we're back. We fly back out again in 5 weeks? Something like that, 4 weeks to go back over. Taking Eddie James with us. We'll be hitting several cities with Eddie James, the minister over there. But I'm telling you what, man, it looked like things went pretty good here with Kira. How'd that go?
It went really well. It actually really did. There was the second time she forgot about it. And I messaged her. I'm like, hey, you going to be on? She's like, So we were a little late getting started that the second time, but they were both really good programs. A lot of people said we just need to have call it brother and sister in Christ, BS in Christ. That's what Kira said. I didn't know we can't BS in Christ, Kira.
That is awesome, man. That is awesome. Well, I knew you were in good hands with Kira being on there, man. She's always a fan favorite on this program. You never know what's going to go down when Kira gets on the program.
We did have a couple walkthroughs. The first week she planned ahead and she went to the church, got into an office by herself, and no issues, no problems, no nothing. The second week we had a couple of walkthroughs in the background.
You gotta love it, man. Which it wouldn't be a true Kira sighting if that wasn't the case. Speaking of Kira, man, they got like the brutal cold front coming through up there. They're talking temperatures of like 40 to 50 below, not wind chill, but temperatures 40 to 50 below this week up there.
It's going to be 25 below zero for us. Below zero, not freezing, below zero.
Below 0x.
Yeah.
That's what she's having up there. They're saying 50 below zero. Or well, see, zero is freezing for her on her temperature scale. On ours, it's 32 for her. For her, it is zero. But yeah, well, it's going to get cold here this week, Josh. Just so you know, we get cold in Georgia.
Yes.
Not your kind of weird cold, but on Friday, it's supposed to get down to 20 degrees here.
Wow, that's well. Right now, it's 23 for us.
So I got to tell you this, dude. You're going to love this story right here. So because it's getting so cold, I have to buy a greenhouse from our lemon tree. Yeah, and I have a little heat lamp in there so it doesn't freeze. Because for those of you who don't know, last year we got this lemon tree. It was like, you can't see my hands. It was only like a foot tall. All right. Well, now this thing's like 4 feet tall. It's in this huge pot, and it's got lemons on it.
Yes.
And so I don't know if you see this picture or not, Josh. I'll put it up there. There's my greenhouse that holds my lemon tree now.
I love it.
See there? That thing is awesome, man. Got it up in there, man. I even got a little thermometer that goes in there, which I got the other part of the side so I can make sure the temperature stays above 35 degrees. I got a couple of lights out there to generate some heat. And I got to save that lemon tree, Josh, because you know why? Next summer, you're going to come visit or something. You're going to want some lemonade. I'm like, you know what? I got some fresh lemons.
Come on. That's what I'm talking about right there.
So there you go, man. I saved the lemon tree. Good thing I was back in town. I don't think it would have happened if I wouldn't have been in town.
What? I think it would have. I think Peg knows how to make sure that it gets taken care of.
Talking about me or the lemon tree?
I can see Peg telling Jimmer, get in the car. I'm going to have you run into the store and buy this.
Hear you. So anyway, Josh, everybody watching knows that this weekend is Christmas.
Theoretically, yes.
What are you preaching about on Christmas morning?
Nothing.
I know for certain. I know you guys are having church on Christmas morning because that's the way you were raised.
Nope.
What are you talking about? Fine. Are you serious? You guys cancel church on Christmas morning? No back deck at the Kennedys? Nothing? No church in Morocco? Are you the only church not having service in Morocco on Christmas Day?
Actually, possibly not.
Well, Baptists don't count.
A lot of churches around here actually are not having it. I don't know why. I think you should. It's like not having church because it's Easter. It's Christmas. Have church. But
I had this conversation with the pastor the other day.
Yes.
Because he doesn't want to have church on Christmas Day. He said, what better to celebrate the birth of Christ than to be with family and to show the love of Christ? He says, but the people in his church were outraged because that's Jesus' birthday. It's the meaning of the day. And so he said, they want to have it, so we're having it. I said, this is what you do. I said, find out when your board member's birthday is. And the one that was really pushing it, he told me it was in June. I said, so what you need to do, go March, after a service in March, have a big dinner and bring out a birthday cake for that board member. And when he said, wait a minute, today's not my birthday, I said, exactly. Historians have proven that December isn't Jesus' birthday either, but you want to celebrate it then. According to historians, it would have been in September because that's when the taxes were taken.
Yep.
But we celebrate it in December, so why not celebrate your birthday now? And that's how you take care of stuff like that.
I might just have church, man. Once again, we don't cancel church because of Easter.
No, but you aren't having church.
Well, that's not because of Christmas. It's because the building that we rent out is being rented out that day.
Well, not that many people would have showed up anyway. You should have just gone down to Bombshell and done it. She's got plenty of room in there. She ain't got nobody coming in there to get her hair cut.
No, but it's her place, and she'll keep saying, "This is my place. I get to say what gets done here."
You know, it's in my life. I should be the one to preach.
That's why we're not having it there.
That's right.
But what they are doing is it's called Santa Chefs, and they will be feeding about 700 people. So
it's called what?
Santa Chefs.
Santa Chefs. Okay, you'll be feeding about 7. What are they serving that day?
Turkey, I think mashed potatoes, green beans, maybe some dressing, and maybe some pie, I think.
So let me ask you this question, Josh. Let's do a little Christmas talk here. So what is your go-to Christmas dinner item? Ham or turkey?
Turkey.
Or goose?
I'm a turkicanus freak.
You're a turkicanus freak. I think you got the freak part right.
It's from a movie.
All right, so then on Christmas Day, you eat your Christmas dinner. First of all, what time do you eat at?
Well, our family tradition, 1.
1 o'clock. All right, now.
Unless we're talking to Doris, then we tell her noon, so she shows up at 12:55.
Bingo. All right, so now here's the next question: do you eat pie or cake for dessert, or Christmas cookies?
Yes. Pie and cookies.
Man, I'm all about some Christmas cookies for dessert on Christmas Day. Now, what's one of your family traditions, Josh?
One of our family traditions, we have
yours.
Yeah, we usually have pancakes on Christmas morning, and we have the metal cookie cutters, and you dip them in oil and put them on the pan. Put your pancake mix in there, and so like I make a little Christmas tree pancake, a stocking pancake, stuff like that.
Well, that's cool. I've never seen pancakes like that. I've seen Mickey Mouse shaped pancakes.
Well, that's the trick to it. You get the metal cookie cutters, they're Christmas shapes, and you dip them in a little bit of oil, vegetable oil first, and put them on there and pour your pancake batter in there. Then when it's time to turn it, you pick it up and you pull the cookie cutter off and you flip it, and you got a pancake shaped like the cookie cutter.
Sounds pretty good.
You're welcome, everybody.
I know that I know you probably one of our Christmas traditions, for the kids, and I think you do the same thing. For the kids go to bed the night before we read, I always read them towards the night before Christmas, even though they don't believe in Santa Claus. There ain't nothing wrong with reading the stories, so don't be getting all religious on me out there.
Cowan, Santa Claus, if you rearrange the letters, it says Satan. Dagnabbit.
And then the morning before we open up presents, we read the story out of the Bible, Luke chapter 2, and then we pray. And then, we open the presents the way, when we were kids. Well, let me finish this and I'll go back to that story. But one of my favorite traditions that we do here at my house is on Christmas night, like around 6 o'clock for dinner that night. We order Chinese food and we watch A Christmas Story. Simply the Chinese food because the last scene of that movie, they go out for Chinese. And so we order Chinese. And every Chinese place is open in town. Maybe not in Morocco, but around here.
What's the name of the Chinese place in the movie A Christmas Story?
I don't know.
Bowling. You want to know why?
Got a bow?
Nope, because it's actually a bowling alley that they built a restaurant in part of it. So they just blacked out the W and it says Bowlings. You can actually still see the W on the sign in the show.
That's crazy. I never noticed that before.
You're welcome.
And so we eat Chinese food that night and watch a Christmas Story.
My favorite Christmas movie.
But going back to yes, mine as well. Have you seen the new one, the part 2 they just came out?
Not yet. I want to see it. I'm waiting for Jane to finally say, "Okay, let's watch it."
I'm waiting for whatchamacallit, Christmas Day. We're going to watch it. Christmas Day. So anyway, something that we do at our house, and I think you do it at yours. A lot of us kids still do it. Is what we used to call the hot seat back.
Absolutely.
And so, back when we were younger, we'd all get our presents back when we were growing up. Because a lot of times we went to family on Christmas morning, we would open our presents on Christmas Eve. Because we would either be leaving the next morning early to go to our grandmother and our aunt's house, or they would be coming to our house. And so to avoid that chaos, we opened our presents on Christmas Eve. And so we would all have our presents there, and like literally within 10 minutes, bam, paper everywhere, sweat, screams, howl, crying sometimes by Chandra because she didn't get what she wanted. The presents were done. And so mom was like sitting there like a blur. I mean, because you got to figure at this point there's like 7 or 8 of us kids.
Yep.
And so it's a whole lot of unwrapping, and it's like the parents are going like this to watch their kids. And so mom finally put an end to that. She put the kibosh on it. She said, "I'm going to watch my kids open their presents." So she called it the hot seat, but man, we opened them one present at a time. When the present was pulled, whoever it was, you sat in this chair in the middle of the room. Everybody watched you open that present. Then you went back and someone else came in.
Yep.
Now it prolonged the process when you got 10 kids.
I'm sorry, I just thought about the year Nelson had to go stoke the fire, so we had to pause opening presents till he stoked the fire.
Yeah. But I'm telling you, and you ain't seen presents when you got 10 kids, and then you got some that get married and come back. I mean, there were some years it take us 4 to 5 hours to open up Christmas presents.
Well, that year with Nelson, with what?
But it was fun. A fun
yeah.
We had a blast. One year, Doris and her husband, they had a wood burning fireplace in their house, and so he's like, he had a real Southern accent. He's like, "Well, man, you guys, this is taking too long."
Door.
What's that?
Hey, door.
Yeah. He's like, "Hey, door, I'm going to have to go home and stoke the fire. Can we put a pause on this gift unwrapping for a minute?"
That year it took like 6.5 hours.
Oh, man, it took forever to unwrap those presents. Now, we still do that at my house, but, you got 3 kids, me and Peg, so it doesn't take no 4 to 5 hours. We're done usually in about an hour and a half, 2 hours. But you get every picture you want. You get every reaction you want. But let's be real honest. As parents, man, you spend that money. You want to see that excitement on your kid's face. And it was something that mom started down that I think just about all of us kids do it now. Yep. And I'm pretty sure, my boys, they love it. I'm pretty sure it's just one of those generational things I think that'll be handed down by a lot of them in our family.
I remember the first year mom did that. She brought in one of those old raggedy dining room chairs and had us sit on one of those.
I think those chairs were supposed to get replaced at one time, but something happened. And they didn't get. Actually, I think they actually got purchased or whatever, but never did get picked up or something along those lines.
Yeah, not sure what.
But it was funny, man. I'm telling you right now, man. If you guys could have been around our house with that many kids at Christmas time, our mother absolutely set the standard for every one of us.
Well, here's the thing, also though, to remember about all that. We would start like at 4 in the afternoon because you had 4 hours of opening presents. But then after opening presents, we'd clean everything up, which you usually were under the tree handing the presents out. Wendy would push her way into helping out.
I put a Santa Claus hat on, man, and I was sweating it out. And I mean, it's a good thing I've always been a fan of deodorant because it could have gotten like Uganda airplane bad in there. You know what I'm talking about?
Heck yeah.
When you stop in Rwanda and all those people on you and the cleaners come out, you're like, "Oh my God, I can tell I'm back in Africa." But by the time you leave there, you're desensitized to it. You're like, "Smells pretty good in here."
I come home, Jane's like, "You gonna put deodorant on?" I'm like, "I did." This is just my clothes, okay? They gotta wash them.
But seriously though, man,
But
Mom,
well, back to what I was saying though, we'd start like at 4 hours opening gifts. You would be underneath there handing the gifts out. Wendy would try to wedge her way back there to take your place. I was off to the side with the trash bag and the knife to cut the tape open because every box was taped up, even if there's a shirt in it, on all four sides.
you got that right.
And then as soon as we get done, all right, everyone run your gifts to your room, get everything cleaned up. And while we're doing that, Mom's laying out all the food.
Oh yeah.
And then, I mean, just a huge spread of food. We're sitting there having a good time partying, eating the food. And after about a half hour, 45 minutes of eating, it was go back and get all the board games and stuff and play with the Christmas presents until like 3 in the morning.
Oh yeah, there were some mornings, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, we were playing board games.
Oh, the year with Risk.
Oh, yeah, with Risk, there was a year we played Scotland Yard. Remember
Oh,
that
yeah.
Scotland Yard game?
Oh, yeah.
There was another year. One of the girls got Bionic Woman game. It was like really good game. We played that. But if you don't know our mom, which most of you don't, I mean, that woman could bake like nobody's business, and she would easily bake over 2,000 cookies at Christmas time. And the thing was, she would ice those things too, and she would like enlist you to help her ice, but you had to do it. I mean, every cookie was like its own masterpiece, and you better not mess it up.
Now, I got to take a moment and be honest here, okay? Because Chandra just mentioned she would help Mom ice. And I'm being honest. I'm not being funny. I'm being straightforward here. I will say this. Chandra is really great at icing the cookies like Mom did. I will give her 100% credit for that. She is really great at icing the cookies. Go ahead.
Well, Chandra is really good at doing the cookie side of it.
Yes.
She not very good at copying Mom's biscuit recipe, not by any stretch of the imagination. But we gotta give Chandra props when props are. That's just a personal family joke right there. We won't go further than that. But then it was like cheese and sausage and cheese balls and nachos and all these cookies and stuff. And we would just sit out there and hammer away. I mean, you wonder why Josh and I are as shut up. That was 40 years ago. Chandra said.
Is Chandra 56?
Chandra's 54, I think.
Okay.
Look, we're blasting Chandra's age out all over. Chandra's like 63. Don't worry, she can't hear us. Her battery ran out on her hearing aid this week. But we did, man. It was Christmas was a party, and then usually the next day, it was like alternating years. You know, Grandma would come to our house, and we would go there. So, Josh, with that being said,
yes.
What's your favorite Christmas cookie?
Oh. Before I give you my favorite Christmas cookie, well, no, we'll do it later. My favorite Christmas cookie that Mom made, I would have to say would be the oatmeal scotchies because I've always liked oatmeal cookies, and then an oatmeal cookie with butterscotch chips. Come
Those
on.
are good, man. Those are great. Mine's got to be her world famous wreath cookies.
Oh, those are good.
And people have tried and tried. It's weird because one year someone will try it and they'll hit it.
I did once.
Because the recipe's so finicky, and the next year you try to repeat it, and they're like, "Oh my God, what you did? Don't do this again." It's almost like we understand you don't like gravy, but do you not like cookies?
Oatmeal scotchies are my favorite. Followed up, wreath cookies are up in the top 5. 7-layer bars are in the top 5.
Dude, I'm making those with Jude tomorrow. We're gonna make some 7-layer bars. That's an easy recipe that a kid can do.
The oatmeal scotch. I mean the ugly cookies by Grandma Cowan are up there in my top 5.
Dude, the ugly cookies got made today here.
Dude, I made those for our church Christmas party. Nothing left. Dude, they were stealing them out of the kitchen before the party started.
And they're so ugly.
They are, but they're good.
But man, they are absolutely good. So, all right, you were going to say something earlier. You said you'd come back to it.
Okay, I don't know why I have this memory, but I do. I was like, see, what year is Jason born? 80? So I think he was about 8 at the time, which would have made me about 14. That sounds about right. I think I was 14, he was 8. And that year we had mozzarella sticks that mom had bought, and we were eating them on Christmas Eve. And I'll never forget, Jake took a big old bite, and like as an 8-year-old, just a kid eating, took a big old bite, like didn't bite it all the way through, just held it right there in his mouth and like started to swallow. And man, it's like, and he's having to pull the mozzarella stick out of his throat because it was mozzarella cheese stretching.
Wow, that's some memory, John.
It's hilarious. You weren't there. I think you were. No, you were. I think you were in the Air Force then.
That would have been, well, no. How old was Jake then?
He was like, I was 14. I was already in high school.
Well, then I was probably in college then.
It's possible. Chandra, to answer your question, I use orange extract because I used mom's recipe.
Well, Chandra's probably going to correct you on that, Josh.
That's okay. I've got mom's handwritten cookbook. You can correct all you want.
Chandra would be like, no, mom put that in there one time and then decided she didn't like it, but she only told me what she
said exactly.
So, Josh, what's the worst Christmas present you've ever gotten from Jane?
I've never gotten a bad Christmas present from Jane.
Oh, whatever, man. Sucker, don't even go there. What's the worst Christmas present you've ever gotten?
I don't know. Usually, believe it or not, Jane's really good at getting gifts. I will give her that. Like when we were engaged and she bought me stock in the Green Bay Packers. That's an amazing gift. When we were dating and she bought me the Christmas Story movie. Bonnie, me at this church, that would be the worst gift. You are correct, Bonnie. You are the worst gift.
I don't think Jane gave you, Bonnie.
Nope, she didn't. Trust me. I'm trying to. I honestly, off the top of my head, can't remember. But if it was a bad gift from Jane, which Jane is really good at buying gifts for me, it would probably would have been like bought me a sweater. I don't like sweaters.
Remember the cream and green sweater you used to have? It like buttoned up the front. It had like these green, almost looked like something Dad gave you or something.
It was from Dad. I know what you're talking about.
You know what I'm talking about? Oh, dude, that was the worst sweater ever.
I owned 3 cardigans in my life, and I didn't buy one of them. Guess who did?
Or Dan, I'll never forget this. This is a true story, man. You guys gonna die over this. Peg and I were dating, and she wanted to go to the Fox Theater. So I got us tickets to see Beauty and the Beast at the Fox Theater.
I thought you were going to talk about the year we went to the Nutcracker.
That was even worse. I've been to the Fox Theater twice, and I don't think they'll let me come back again. And so Peg's like, hey, I want to. Yeah, we weren't married. We were just dating. I think we were engaged at the time.
But I think you guys like all dressed up and everything, right?
Oh, yeah, that's where I'm going, man, is my outfit that I wore. Because I had nothing to wear. I'd just gotten out of the military. And so I go in there. I'm like, hey, Dad, you got something I can borrow? And he gives me the sweater. And it's like one of those. I also went to the Fox Theater to see Celtic Woman with Peg as well. I forgot about that. So I've been there 3 times. So he gives me this sweater, and I put it on. And it's one of those Bill Cosby sweaters where it's got little patches of leather here and here. And so I wear that sweater with some black jeans and some cowboy boots, man. And so we get to the Fox Theater. So Peg's got to go to the bathroom. So she goes to the bathroom. This is right before the show's getting ready to start. And, dude, I'm, like, looking all over the place. And I'm way back in this corner in the Fox Theater. I don't even know if it was supposed to be open that night because everybody's dressed nice. All these guys have suits on and stuff. And I'm Bill Cosby in it there. I'm a cross between Tim McGraw and Bill Cosby. And I find this little stand back there, dude, and they got popcorn and hot dogs. I'm like, holy cow, you gotta be kidding me. This because everybody's walking around these cocktails and stuff. And so I grab a bag of popcorn and a hot dog. I didn't think nothing of it. I don't even think that food was supposed to go into that place. Peg comes out of the bathroom and she just looks at me. She goes, "Oh my God, it's bad enough the outfit you got on, and now you got a hot dog and popcorn." I said, "Yeah, it's gonna be great. Let's go." She goes, "This is not a ball game." Dude, I didn't understand nothing in that musical. I eat my hot dog, I eat my popcorn, and I go to sleep. She literally had to wake me up to leave. I missed the big part at the end where like the flower turns into some dude and he's floating in the air or whatever. I don't know, something like that. I totally missed it, man. But that was my first experience at the Fox. Peg, I come walking out dressed the way I am, and Peg just looks at me like, "You've got to be kidding me, right?"
I remember when we did go to see the Nutcracker. You're like, "Don't worry, dude. I know there's a popcorn and hot dog vendor inside the building."
Yeah, well, who would have thought, So I go to see the Nutcracker, and there's no freaking words. There's just people dancing out there. I thought it was a play.
It's a ballet, dude.
Well, it was like dudes in tights, except that one song from Home Alone. That's the only thing I knew was the Home Alone song.
But it's not the Home Alone song. It's the Nutcracker song that they used in Home Alone.
See, I think it's the other way around. That's the only thing I knew. Like when I heard that song, I'm like, "Oh, okay." Kevin's gonna come see. No, a big rat comes out instead. Come on. It was the worst night ever. It says, "Oh, I went and saw the Nutcracker. It was amazing." How was it amazing? You have no idea what they said. You just got a bunch of people up there dancing.
Yeah, it was rough. It was rough for me.
I'm telling you, man. Oh, it was rough. I know it was rough on you. So anyway, all right. Jane aside, what's the worst present you can remember getting at Christmas time?
Oh, trying to think. I don't know, man. I I think I've just blocked all the bad ones out.
Yeah, I mean, it's easy to do. You know what I always think of when I think of bad Christmas gifts? I think of Glenn Smith. You remember Glenn Smith?
I can tell that story.
That is such a great story. Marriage almost ended over that.
He tells us, "Yeah, I couldn't think of what to get my wife for Christmas." So you remember a few years back, getting these little rock garden waterfalls was a real popular thing, or fountains, It looked like a little rock garden with a fountain in it, a waterfall type thing. So he decides to buy one for his wife. Oh yeah, Sean, I forgot about that. You're right. That's one of the low gifts when I got boxers and chocolates from my brother-in-law.
Marcy said, "Try having a birthday 2 days before Christmas." That would be 3 days, Marcy. You're born on the 22nd, not the 23rd.
You're right, Jim.
Sometimes people forget what their birthday is when it's the Christmas season and they've had too much egg. No, go ahead with the story, Josh.
And sometimes math is hard, Jim. Anyway, so Glenn buys his wife, can't think of anything to buy her. So he buys her this little rock water fountain waterfall thing. And she opens it up and says, "I hate this. This is the worst Christmas ever in my life." And he goes, "Well, hon, like 3 years ago, your dad died on Christmas." She goes, "Exactly."
She said, "You ruined Christmas." Slams it down and storms out of the house. He goes, "I was all excited about you for that gift." Oh, Marcy says, "We open presents on Christmas on the 24th. Yeah, but that ain't Christmas. Christmas is the 25th. Everybody trying to change Jesus' birthday. That thing's in September, people. Get a clue." Oh, man. You know why we don't celebrate Christmas in September? Because it's too nice. We got Labor Day. Nobody wants to spoil the cookout season.
I'll tell you why we do December 25th. It's actually, if more people studied it, they would understand, like, oh, wow, we're not trying to take over a pagan holiday. And it stems back to the Middle Ages when they started wanting to celebrate a mass at churches for Christmas, the people at the time believed that a prophet, which Christ was considered a prophet, would die on the day they were conceived. And so, since he died around the 25th of March, roughly, don't hold me to that, okay? But which would have been around the time of the Passover. They moved forward the 40 weeks, which would have been around December 25th. And so going back in the calendar to the year that they said was the year that Jesus was born, they found out when Passover was that year, moved forward 40 weeks and said, boom, there is when Christ was born. And it was actually a movement amongst the Christian people. It wasn't necessarily done by the church officially, just the Christian people. Like, hey, since we know this for a fact, which is not a fact, at the time, it was considered to be a fact. So, and all the Christian people, like, since we know this for a fact, let's just start celebrating Jesus' birthday on the day he was born, December 25th. And that's really how it came about. The people.
Would you say that? Would you say December 25th, their quote unquote fact was disinformation and would be fact checked today if that would have happened today?
Well, no, because it's the wrong date, so it would be heralded as the correct date by fact checkers.
There you go. Now, if you missed what I said earlier today, just briefly, historians believe that Jesus was actually born sometime in September, possibly beginning of October, because that's when the census would go out and the taxation would be done in the country at that time.
Coupled with the fact that the shepherds were still in the fields.
Yep. So that's why I said it's September, not December 25th. But who's counting anyway, other than all the kids and Marcy, because she still celebrates Christmas on the 24th.
Oh, Chandra just hit me with one I don't know, and now I'm going to have to go home and look it up. What are the origins of Yorkshire pudding? Thank you, Chandra. Appreciate that.
I believe it has something to do with a Yorkie dog, and
it's actually from I do know that Yorkshire pudding is from Yorkshire and the United Kingdom in England, and it's not actually pudding. It's what you would actually refer to it as a form of bread, Jim.
Oh, yeah. Let me tell you something. Marcy made some bread pudding back in, what month was that? Was that
Man,
September, October?
I would not have a problem hitting you in the face to get some more of that bread pudding.
I know. So Marcy might not know when Christmas is, but she knows where the pan is, and she knows how to make that bread pudding. I'm telling you that much right now.
Heck yeah, that stuff was off the chain.
Well, anyway, Josh. So you're going to Michigan for Christmas?
Yes.
Is that kind of turning into a family staple for you? Do you go to Michigan every year?
We haven't every year, but we do a lot. I could never understand it. In the summertime, they all wanted to go to Georgia. In the wintertime, they all wanted to go to Michigan. That made zero sense to me.
Absolutely. Now, you guys are expecting a big snowstorm this week, aren't you?
We are. We're expecting, it looks like we could get close to 10 inches between Thursday and Friday.
Wow, so it's going to be a white Christmas in Morocco.
Yep, and anyone who said they're dreaming of one, I'm going to knock them out.
You know, I can honestly say here in Georgia, I'm not dreaming of a white Christmas. It's going to be cold, though, Christmas Day. It's supposed to only be a high like 36. But that's okay because I got my lemon tree in my greenhouse on the back deck. Sean, I don't know if you saw when I was talking about that earlier. You got to come over and check out the greenhouse I put up. You're going to love that thing.
Yep. Yep, and don't forget, I don't know how to make Christmas-shaped pancakes, Jim.
I do know how to do that now, and I also know that Chandra was icing Christmas cookies tonight that I will be indulging in later this week.
And in fact, she said she has extra icing if you need some for your cookies, Jim.
I don't know if I need any for cookies, but I'll always eat some icing.
My God. Freemason straight out of the bag?
That's right, man. Marcy is saying 1 to 3 inches where she is at of snow.
Yep. She's south of us, but you know that.
I'll
tell you another great cookie I forgot to mention, and you did too.
What?
Mabel cookies.
Oh, Mabel cookies are the best cookie you can have with coffee. Now, where Marcy's at, they get 1 to 3 inches of snow, and you're on the gold team. You have to pay attention to Facebook to see if you're coming into work.
Yep. You better pay attention, gold team. Blue team, not as much. Blue team usually still works, but gold team, pay attention.
You know, Chandra's real good at icing the cookies, but she's never been able to master the Mabel's cookie. She's always struggled in that area. Now, I think it's because she always held a grudge against Mabel because Mabel was missing a leg and it freaked Chandra out all the time when she'd be around her.
And Clarence is missing fingers.
I'm telling you, man, you go over there, it's like, hold on to your appendages, man. You know, what's going to disappear. But Mabel and Clarence was awesome, man, because they had the coolest thing in the world when you're a kid. You know, first of all, just seeing somebody, when you're a little kid, you go in, you see somebody with 3 fingers, got them cut off with a saw, and then Mabel lost a leg climbing a ladder. And so you go to Mabel and Clarence's house, you're freaked out anyway, but they had this cuckoo clock from Germany. Remember the clock?
Yes.
They had the coolest clock, man, and he would wind that. No, yeah, he would wind that thing up, and you sit there every hour, man. But I guarantee you that clock is probably worth a lot of money today.
I think it actually came from Germany, dude.
It did actually come from Germany. It did, man. I mean, I would love to have gotten my hands on that clock right there. I'll tell you that much right now.
BNC cookbook in the works. Someone asking.
Hey, man, that's actually a pretty cool idea.
As I was saying, I'm like, that's actually not a bad idea.
You could do your world famous little Smokies. Josh's recipe for little Smokies. Turn on crock pot. Dump in little Smokies. Dump in bottle of barbecue sauce. Cover. Let simmer for 1 hour. Grab toothpicks and eat. Oh. You can put Bonnie's purple hair recipe on there. On a serious note, though, I think that is an incredible idea, dude. A BNC cookbook. We want all of our viewers to start sending your recipes in, man. I seriously do want to get a BNC cookbook. I think that's amazing. Who had that thought?
Sandra Isaacs.
Sandra Isaacs. Man, that is a great thought. A BNC cookbook. Josh, what's your go-to recipe?
For
anything to eat. What do you mean?
All around, just use with any meal side that everyone goes nuts for would be our macaroni and cheese.
Man, I would say for me, man, probably my world famous 5-bean chili.
In what world?
In my world. Look, who said it was world famous? Well, I know 2 different countries they've ate it in, and they liked it. So that makes Look, Josh's ravioli recipe. Open can of Chef Boyardee.
I'd like to thank the folks at Hormel.
Josh is like microwave on high. Sprinkle crushed Ritz crackers over the top. Chandra is not a fan of your macaroni and cheese. You know why? Because it doesn't have hot dogs cut up in it. That's why.
Or peas or tuna.
Chandra's like, I'd like to submit my zippy chicken recipe to the cookbook. And my monkey bread. Isn't that what she called it? Monkey bread?
Yes. Although she said that we ought to get Bonnie to help make braided dough, braided bread.
We should bring Bonnie can make those little braided donuts, but she put purple icing on them. We are so wrong. I'm going to tell you right now, though, if we put together a cookbook, man, we would have to have Regina put her Coco Loco cake recipe in there, man, because I love that thing.
Dagnabbit, Cowan, we're not giving that recipe out. That's a family secret.
I'm telling you right now, dude, we are doing a cookbook, man. That is all there is to it. We'll just put that logo on the front, BNC on there, recipes, and we want every person can submit one recipe. How's that? That watches.
Good answer.
If not, Marcy would be like, "Well, I got my country Bob's pork chops I want to put in there, and then I got my Death by Chocolate recipe, then my bread pudding recipe, and when I worked at Hobie's, I learned how to make pretzel pub. You're gonna love that thing. All that in there.
My God. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Chuck has my bread pudding. Chuck's got it. Why's Chuck got it?
Man, that's crazy.
Did you see that, Jim?
What's that?
Marcy, whoa, whoa, whoa.
Yeah,
Chuck has my bread pudding recipe.
yeah, well, what Marcy does is she gives out a recipe, then she leaves out one ingredient.
She always does.
Yeah,
That's
like, hey, man, this cake didn't do like it's supposed to. Yeah, I always leave out one ingredient. That time I left out the egg.
why didn't my cake rise?
Look, I can see Marcy saying recipe. French fries, cut potatoes, drop them in hot oil, stir, slightly salt and stir.
These don't taste like yours. I left out the pepper.
Oh man, that's funny stuff. Anyway, man, I hope you have a good Christmas, Josh. I know you're gonna be loading up. Are your kids still puking?
No,
Dude, I swear, man, your kids puke more than any kids I've ever seen.
that's not true.
It's pretty close.
Comparative, how many times you see seen my kids, and how many times you seen them puke, and how many times you seen Jerry Webb's kids, and how many times you seen them puke.
Look, I saw Jerry Webb's kid puke one time, and that's all I needed to ever see of a kid puke was that time, man. All over the table, all over Outback Steakhouse. Matter of fact, dude, I was scrolling through Facebook today, and I come across a picture of Jerry Webb on there with his kids, and I saw that little kid that puked. And he's on there. I was like, oh my God, that's the puker. Seriously, man, that kid blew chunks everywhere, man. It's a good meal too. That chicken I had, and most people don't go to the steakhouse to get chicken. I got chicken there that day. That chicken was good.
We actually have we call that the Jeremy Brown rule. Jane and I do.
Oh, hey, by the way, Josh, I do believe on Thursday here at the house, I think it's Thursday. Look, it's supposed to get delivered on Thursday. The blue box gift will be making its appearance.
Nice. Nice. Way to go, Jim.
That's another tradition that started here at our house. The first year, I'll tell the story real quick. I know we're running late tonight, but Chandra got on here late anyway, so she needs to make up some time. So when Peg and I first got married, you know, it was our first Christmas together as a married couple, and I was out at the mall, and I saw this thing I liked. I thought, hey, man, I think Peg would like this gift. And so there's probably a lot of you that heard the stories I've told many times. So I go to the wrapping center. You know, they set up these places in the mall, and they'll wrap your gift for you. And they put this blue wrapping paper on there, a big white bow, and this pretty tag. And I took it home, and Peg's like, oh, because Peg loves, you know, trying to guess what a present is and stuff. And she's like all into it and stuff. And I would not tell her what it is. I said, you are going to love this present. Well, what it was there was these candles I saw. They were shaped like pears. And they were in this really nice box and everything. The way they set in there, they were all like, you know, velvet in there and stuff. Well, that's pretty cool. And so I bought these pear-shaped candles. Well, she opens them up and she's like, oh, candles. To this day, I give her the hardest time because it's like, if somebody was asked her what's the worst gift you ever got, she would either probably say, even though she would deny it, pear candles or these bangle earrings I bought her one time that broke. They were like real gold, but they like fell apart when she went to put them on. I had to take them back. But so she was so disappointed. I could tell, like, oh man, I really built these candles up too much. But so every year now, but see, the blue box gift every year now goes under the tree. It's the last present that's opened on Christmas morning, and it's always usually something that was not on her Christmas list. Usually, not always. Sometimes it is. And so it's the only present that gets wrapped in just solid blue, royal blue wrapping paper with a big white bow on it. And the boys get all into it. Oh, blue box gift and all this stuff. And so it will be making its appearance on Thursday morning.
You know why it was so disappointing, don't you?
What?
Because usually a blue box means something from Tiffany's.
That's a powder blue, not a Chicago Cubs royal blue.
Oh, my bad.
The Chicago Cubs royal blue. So like one year the boys were like, well, Dad, why don't you get your own special box? I said, nope. I don't want any pear candles. But let me tell you something, man. Those pear candles have never been lit.
Oh, I know.
The owner of them has. No, just kidding. Anyway, Josh.
Does she still have them?
still got them. Oh yeah, she ain't letting go of those pair of candles. You kidding me, man? You can empty this whole house out, man. Those candles. Once she probably nobody tell her that I told the story tonight. I'm sure she's not watching tonight or whatever because she figures we're just gonna be cutting up on here. So nobody tell her that I told the pair of candles story, Bonnie. Anyway, Josh, we got to get off here. But you said you were going to sing a Christmas song before you got off.
No, I did not. You're lying.
You're not going to do that?
You're lying.
All right, go back to Ukrainian Josh one last time before we go off the air.
I want to say Merry Christmas to all you Americans. You are Santa Claus instead of Krampus, so it's a good Christmas for you.
Dude, you should do like a Ukrainian Charles Walters voice.
Let me say, Ukrainian Charles Waters. You Coins are crazy dagnabbit. Regina. I am tired of you Coins always doing this to me, dagnabbit. I am the bish.
Oh, man, that's funny. That's nuts, man. That's Kirby on there. Oh man! Well, those of you watching, I hope you have a great Christmas. Josh, when do you get back from Michigan?
Not soon enough.
I mean, are you staying up there a few days after Christmas? Coming back the next day? What do you got going?
Yeah, we'll come back probably either Friday or Saturday.
Oh, so you're staying up there a whole week?
Yep.
Oh,
wow. Oh, Ukrainian Bish Charles Waters. My God. My God, quit doing this, dagnabbit.
Oh, that is so funny, man. You gotta love that stuff. Hey, do Jason Houston one more time.
It's not very funny how you make fun of Charles that way, James. And I don't think it should be done.
Now, Ukrainian Jason Houston.
It's not funny you do that, James. Charles would not be happy.
Oh, I love it, man. Dude, we gotta go to Africa again together and do some late night episodes, man. It's been. We gotta go to Kenya again so we can do that.
Come on, Jesus. Yes.
Well, you go back to Uganda in March, I think, don't you?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, we'll be back there in like 4 weeks. It might even be less than 4 weeks now.
Is it?
Might have 4 weeks. January 19th, we fly out.
Gotcha. So you go in January, then you go again in April, right?
Yeah, and then June, and then August. So in between there in February, I go to Ireland. So.
My God.
Busy.
You ain't lying about that.
You got any final words, Josh?
Just want to say thank you all for being with us tonight. Merry Christmas. We love you. We appreciate you. Have a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, and stay safe.
Chandra said, do Ukrainian Kira.
I can't. I don't do Kira. Kira is one of my favorites, so I don't make fun of her.
Hey, can you do Ukrainian Bethany?
I really don't like you, James. I will tell Joe what you said.
Oh, man. Hey, those of you who are watching, if you know anybody that is by themselves this Christmas, reach out to them, invite them over to your house for dinner. This is a great time of the year for many people, but for many other people, it's a very sad and depressing time as well. Anybody that may have lost a loved one this year as well, definitely reach out to them also. To those of you watching in Uganda, I know we lost a great man of God over there today in a car accident. So let's continue to keep that family in prayer. Matter of fact, he was on his way to the airport to fly to the States to see his kids, his daughters. I believe his two daughters that live in America. But let's just keep that family in your prayers as well. On the way to the airport, in a car accident and killed. That's Bishop Patrick Okabe was his name. Mary's from the Mbali area. So
Amen.
if you know somebody that's by themselves this Christmas or has recently lost a loved one, reach out to them. Just tell them how much they're loved and make sure nobody is lonely this Christmas season.
Amen.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. We love and appreciate you all. Next week is kind of up in the air because I'm going to be in Michigan. I don't know how that's going to work out. I'll see what I can do. I'll be in touch with you during the week, Jim. Other than that, we will see you the very latest after the first of the year, January 2nd. So we appreciate you, everyone. God bless. We will see you again.